Hamilton. This is Dana Hamilton. We are team leaders at the Hamilton Realty Group with eXp Realty. And today I can tell you that we are unscripted. So any questions that you have about what we're focused on, please post them, and Dana will look them up, and we'll do our best. We'll do our best to work with them. But today's topic basically focuses on: are you overwhelmed? Are you struggling with that work life, home life, self-care part of your business and your life, for that matter? Right. And it's interesting because after 32 years in the business now, and Dana, are you 30?
In my 30th year.
30th year. We can tell you that we haven't had it all right all the time, but we feel like we're in a place now where we could really share with you, because one of the things that I really hate to see is a new agent that you're interviewing possibly for a position on your team, and the thing that the real estate instructors continue to tell them is that, oh my gosh, this is a 24/7 business, right. 24/7, and it is just such a disservice, I think, for people to think that way. And I know Dan and I were very blessed in the early part of our career to have a mentor who taught us that it was all about your schedule, and that our business was like no different than like other businesses, like a doctor or a dentist. You have certain hours that you work. Right. So the most important thing that I think that was shared during that time with us was to just have a schedule and to focus on the important things in your life. And so first of all, that myth, it is not 24/7. If you came and talked with us, we would talk with you about 5 days a week, maybe 8 hours a day. Sure, there's going to be some time that you have to be flexible and change, but if you run it like a business, and if you have a schedule and you have people supporting you, it can be that. And I think for us, the good part of it is we've been in the business now really since our kids were born. Right. And one of the things that was so important to us, I guess, as they were growing up, is we really very rarely missed one of their activities, whether it was at school, whether it was at church, whatever it was. We were able to plan and schedule that and be at those things. And I know as we look back now and as our kids are older, that was precious time with them, and very important time. So that, I think, is something that you got to look at, and you got to find mentors that are going to help you with that work, home life, self-care balance. So that, I think, is again one of the things that I think is very important. So all that being said, again, I want to be totally transparent sharing with you is that what I have found as I'm now going into my 32nd year in the business is that in the early part of my career, I was probably not very balanced. I did take advantage of the time to be at my children's events, but I mean, I was out there, and it was crazy, and that was for the first couple of years. And I think
a lot of nights, a lot of weekends.
Yeah. Until we met a mentor, and that mentor was Mike Ferry. Just so you know, we've been mentored by Mike Ferry, we've been mentored by Tom Ferry, we've been mentored by Bill Pipes, all great people that we look up to. But Mike said you got to learn to run it like a business, and so that was something that we made that change. And we really focused on making sure that we pretty much worked like Monday through Friday. And again, there was occasions when you had to do a Saturday or something, but that was something we focused on all the time. So as we were growing that business, we went from, I think my first year in the business, I did 23 transactions, and the next year 50, and then we went up to 100, and I think one time we made 200 or something.
Yeah, so, team, sure.
Yep. But we still were able to pretty much keep that in balance. So as we talk to you about that, you've got to set your priorities. What's important to you? Obviously, when you're building a new business, you need to have the right team and the right mentors to help work with you to maximize your time at work, to do the things that are necessary, right?
Right, well,
To grow your business.
Right, and making sure when you set that schedule of, what time you're going to spend, a good, 80% of that time needs to be spent on what's income generating activities. It's
Yes,
on the
and your
phone,
work life.
sending
Yep.
emails, doing the things you need to do to get business. And then the beauty part of our team is then there's somebody else to service the business. So you're constantly out there generating more business. And again, that's part of the balance of the team. But yes, setting a schedule, making sure you're giving good service and you're available, but you don't need to be available 24/7. But it is work. It's that balance. Some people think, oh, real estate's easy. I'll show a few houses, make lots of money, and it'll be fun.
Yep.
Well, it can be fun some days, but it's a lot of work, granted, okay? But if you treat it like a business, have a schedule, make sure you get your priorities done, then you can have a life, and have a great life.
Yeah, I think a couple of key things you just hit on there. It reminds me of mantras that we've had that still stick in my mind. And one of them was, if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist.
Right.
So again, let's be totally transparent. When we chose to really focus on working 5 days a week, did we lose business? Absolutely, we did. But it was also another mantra that I had was that you can't lose something you don't have.
It's a choice.
And that choice at that time for us was
Yeah.
our family and our self-care. If you work with somebody and you've got the details down on what it is for you to achieve your goal, then if you focus 80% of your day on those activities, you'd be amazed. Now, I know that there's some realtors out there probably watching us, let's check and see, that are not gonna like when I say this, but you do have to make choices, and it's not 24/7.
Right.
And it is a business. And in fact, I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine on my front porch talking about this. Folks, our business is not rocket science,
Right.
right?
Right.
We're not engineers. We're not nuclear this or working in the space industry. Our business comes down to simply doing the things necessary to achieve the goals you have, and to really focus on, as Dana says, those income generating opportunities. Which again, unfortunately, most brokers don't talk about that.
Right.
You do have to do some form of, I'm old fashioned, some form of prospecting or
Right.
lead generation
and follow-up.
every single
It's
day.
huge.
And then tenacious follow-up.
Right.
Because here's a statistic that sticks in my head all the time, and people always tell us that, oh my gosh, these leads are terrible. We believe there's no bad leads. There's just bad follow-up. And it is proven that it'll take 8 to 10 conversations with somebody before they will make that decision to do business with you.
Right.
So,
So here's another thing that I learned a long time ago too. When Jack says that, okay, our business is not rocket science, very valid. I also figured out that our business does not need to be 24/7, and there is nothing, I repeat, in this business that is so life-threatening that it has to be 24/7, that you have to pick up your phone at 11 o'clock at night or answer calls, things like that. You don't, because at that point, what can you do about anything? Yes, we are here to give the best possible customer service.
absolutely.
Okay, and support our clients to help them accomplish goals, to help them solve problems. But it's not life-threatening. I mean, if somebody's calling you, it's not because they're being rushed to the hospital, they haven't had a heart attack, they're not bleeding out. They'll be fine. They may be upset, there may be a problem, but at 11 o'clock at night, what can you really do about it? So between the hours of 8 and, maybe 7 at night, 8 in the morning, 7 at night, okay? Yes, you handle your problems. You give great customer service. You are reachable. You communicate. You do the things you need to do. But then you shut it off. And you have self-time. You have family time.
Right.
And take care of yourself and have a life. So it is a business, and you've got to treat it like a business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I talk to lots of people, and again, just for information, not any other big deal, but, you know, Dan and I have both coached top agents all over the country. And the thing that is important is that, you know, that balance, because when you get out of balance, you are, you know, lacking in some area. And of course, the thing we see a lot of times is that, you know, if you're working all the time, then you're not spending any time on your marriage, or you're not spending any time with your kids, and then problems arise there. So the balance is what we're really wanting to share with you. And again, you know, again, not bragging. I mean, our team, we're a top producing team in the area. We've done lots of business, but we very much are focused on our schedule and our priorities. So I think that is the message that we're really, you know, trying to work with you. There's a couple of young agents in this area that I know and I talk to all the time, and I mean, they're doing really great business, but the rest of their life is totally out of control, and that will catch up with you. I mean, so you've got to focus on that. If you have a schedule, and if you have a detailed goal, and the thing I'll tell you about goals is,
That's what I wanted to talk about.
okay, well, and I'll just let it, and then we'll let Dan talk about it.
Yeah.
They need to be your goals.
Right.
They need to be your goals. Yeah. And this is where, you know, I will again be very transparent, is that there certainly were times when I got a little disillusioned, and, you know, it was like it was like a transaction. I wasn't really caring about the buyer or seller that I was working with. It was kind of about the numbers in the transaction, and how can I get a new fancier car, or how can I get a bigger house, or I can do this, blah, blah, blah. And come full circle now, we can honestly share with you that it is all about our customers. In fact, the start of our mission statement says, we believe you, the consumer, deserves a better experience. It is all about you. So I don't want you to think, if you're one of the consumers out there watching, that, oh, we just blow you off. Everything we focus on is about you.
Right.
I've been reading a lot of books and a lot of focus, and then we'll get back to your goal setting real quick. But for me, what I'm really trying to do with my life now, and I'm going to share with you my ideal schedule of what I do in a bit, but is more of a life of significance versus success. Nobody's going to remember you if you had the biggest house or the most amount of money in your bank account,
Or you sold the most
or the
houses.
biggest house, or you sold the most houses. If you didn't do something to help your fellow man. And so for us, it's really, our life has gotten a lot more simple, because we try to focus on the significance of what we're doing. So,
Absolutely.
and I know I cut right in there, but finish up about, you know, goal setting.
Right, because when we talk about our schedule, your schedule and what's in that schedule is going to depend on your goals.
Yes.
And everybody's goals are different. And it can be about income and money, or it could be about family time. It could be about what it is you need to accomplish for yourself or someone else, whatever that is. And that's something that I have loved to do for our team members as we bring them in and work with them each year. And when I'm coaching agents, is sitting down and finding out what we talk about. What's your why? Why are you doing this business? Because that's what's going to drive you every single day to get up and do this business.
All right.
And then, you know, let's put that down to a very specific goal of what are you trying to accomplish, and we can run the numbers of exactly what you need to do every single day to make that goal happen. And I love to watch people do that and help them get there. So that's what we love to do, and we love to talk to anybody that has questions about that, of how we can help you take a goal, take that driving force for you, and put it into a daily, weekly, monthly schedule to make you and help you accomplish that goal. And it really is that simple. If you can be disciplined and follow that schedule and do those things every single day, you'll get there.
Yeah, and I think, you know, follow up with that, and that's why we talk about how important it is to be with the right mentor, be with the right team leader, to help you, again, as we said, focus on your goals and what's really important to you. And as you go through that, I mean, you obviously, you know, part of what we talk about, self-care or exercise or whatever, it has to deal with the fact of, I don't care what people tell you, our business is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, think about
It's
this.
hard work.
You are representing somebody, and I don't care what price range it is, but you're representing somebody with their biggest financial decision of that year, but for a lot of people of that 20 years or maybe even a lifetime.
Right.
And so there's stress. There's market study. You've got to know the market and be that local expert to guide them and make sure that they're
Right.
doing the right things. So with that stress, you've got to start looking at your self-care. And again, 32 years in the business, okay? It hasn't always been easy, but we look at those other avenues of, are you eating right? Are you working out? Do you have some time for you?
Tell them kind of what your schedule is.
Do we have any questions before I ramble a little longer?
No, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So
Tell me about your schedule.
here's been my schedule, and I've been really, really focused and fine tuning this for a while. But as I've gotten older, I need more sleep, honestly. So I'm usually in bed. It's down to laughs by at least 10 o'clock. And I get up somewhere right around 6:30, and I immediately go into 10 to 15 minutes of meditation. After I go into meditation, I immediately go into reading the Bible. For all of you that might not know this, I've got a goal to read the Bible in a year. And then I get ready, and then I read some motivational books. Oh, I missed the important part of when I get done with my meditation. I have a gratitude journal, and I write out 10 things I am grateful for to start the day off right. And then I do read or listen to some motivational stuff. And what I found in what works well for me, and again, this is for me, okay? This might not be for you. I get to work at 9 o'clock. And I work very hard from 9 to 4. And then I go out either for an hour walk to decompress, or I'm in a yoga class, or I'm in a Pilates class, or I'm playing golf. But my day is very, very structured. But it's fun to me. So, and it helps me to do what I do, which I believe is to serve my clients best. So, that's my schedule. Again, that doesn't need to be your schedule, and quite frankly, that's not Dana's schedule.
Right.
But that's what works for me. So that's where, when we're talking about this subject of, balancing work life, balancing home life, and balancing self-care. I mean, again, reality is the older we get, the more self-care we have to have. I mean, so I'm very disciplined in that, but also very blessed that I can do that.
Sure.
I think is really one of the things I talk about.
And that is honestly the beauty of this business, is that, as Jack talked about, going back to when we were, much younger and our children were young, that was the blessing of this business. Yes, we worked hard. We worked really hard. In fact, when we were starting out and the kids were little, yes, as we said, we worked during the days, 5 days a week, but then I always knew there was the possibility of evening appointments for people that they worked during the day, and that was the only time you could meet with them. But I made it a point of, and I never worked more than 2 evenings a week. So that, and I couldn't tell you what day that was because it depended on people's schedules, but I never was out of the house more than 2 evenings a week so that we could be together as a family, be with the kids. And then of course, yes, Saturdays, Sundays, same issue. Sometimes you had to do some appointments, but it was only if it was productive, and that's when it had to happen. We tried to do it during business hours, but if somebody couldn't, you had to.
Right.
But this business does give you that flexibility of, again, so if, our kids had a game, a basketball game, whatever it was, at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and somebody said, "Oh, can you meet me?" I'd say, "I'm sorry, I already have a commitment at that time, but I could meet you at this time or that time." And most of the time they go, "Oh yeah, that's fine." And we'd meet with that client and still take care of them, but it gave me the flexibility to be with my kids and experience those times. So there's ways to handle it, to still take care of your client, but not feel like you have to jump at every moment that they think is the best time and miss those times for you and your family, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it is a blessing of a business. It gives you flexibility, but it's hard work. So again, just talking about that balance, and no, we don't always get it right, no one does, but if you keep working at it and have that discipline, it's been great for us, we really.
I mean, we
have a
still,
blessed life.
we still love what we do, and
Yeah.
it's because of that. I mean, you know, having the schedule, having the balance, knowing the things that you need to do during the hours that you're working. I've often said to people, and in my coaching world, again, I'm not saying this needs to be your goal, but I almost could guarantee you that if you actually worked 5 hours, 5 days a week, that means work. That means doing the repetitious boredom things that agents don't like to do, that you could easily make six figures consistently.
Oh, sure.
So, right? And I mean, think about how blessed we are to be able to do that. So if, you know, if that's your goal, you know, we'd be glad to help you with that, so.
Yep.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we absolutely appreciate you watching
Thank you.
this scaling up. This is for you, so if you're out there in the background or you see this at some other time and you want to have, you know, you have questions you'd like to reach out to us with,
Yeah.
please let us know, because we are very focused, as I said, on helping and contributing and making this business better for you. And particularly if you're brand new and you're getting your license, don't buy into the 24/7. Don't buy into it.
Yeah.
Call us.
Yeah. Let us
So,
know. We'd love to help.
And again, please send us topics that you'd like for us to chat about on our next Scaling Up.
Yeah.
And always reach out if there's anything we can do, business-wise, you know, life-wise, self-care. We'd be glad to share a little bit of what we do. So
Absolutely.
I hope you found
Thanks so
some
much
points
for your
that
time.
work, and appreciate your time. Take care.